right to it. It goes right in with what we were just talking about. Where are all the growing number of souls coming from? I mean, it seems, I mean, there's more and more. Look at the planet population. It seems like there's more and more.
Well, that's kind of a funny question to me because it assumes a finite a finite system, and there are trillions. Who knows? There are trillions. I'm told trillions of planets that support humanoid life in just
We
this.
knew it. We knew it.
Yeah.
Carl Sagan was wrong. We knew it.
In just this universe. So there's lots of room for, the oneness is spinning off aspects of itself, sparks of itself, and they are evolving on all sorts of different places, planets. Yeah.
Do we incarnate in human form only, or do we come back as other beings, as pets or animals, or blades of grass, etc.? Isn't that a Buddhist type?
Well, it is. It's a Hindu and Buddhist, I believe. But when I ask, what I get is that animals are on a different track from humans. And no, we don't go, and animals don't go into humans. Humans don't go into animals.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So they're on their own. So do animals evolve into human souls then, or do they just don't cross?
They don't cross. But you see, there could be a merging of the animal souls into the oneness and then coming out as human souls again in that sense. There's there can be some kind of a we're all eternal. The oneness is eternal. And one thing that I like to share that had a profound effect on me a long time ago, the being that I was so close to for 25 years, told me that, or reminds me often, everything you can imagine and then some exists, because you can't imagine everything that is possible.
Wow.
So, because we're imagining with our human brain, with our particular limited sensory capacity.
Yeah.
And so, but just think, everything that you can imagine exists somewhere, and then some, whatever you can.
Oh, wow.
So this is what infinity is, right? Isn't this what infinity is?
Yeah.
So that's what we're part of.
Wow.
And we are eternal.
Wow.
So we may change form. Of course we change form, but there's something that is eternal that continues on and has all sorts of different experiences. If you can imagine all the different possible experiences, well then, it's just endless what is being experienced.
Can someone or something take your soul away?
No.
Yay.
There's some shamanic work where they do soul retrieval,
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't really that the soul is taken away. They feel that it gets shattered sometimes, that pieces of somebody were taken from them, and then they retrieve those and put them together. So I wouldn't assume that just because people talk about soul retrieval that there is a loss of soul per se. That no, I mean, soul is. My understanding is that it spins off from the oneness. It goes through this extremely long evolutionary journey where it rises in the hierarchy in the dimensions, and eventually returns, merges into the oneness again. But the oneness is always putting off sparks of itself. So we don't really know this. And I also it's been explained to me that these explanations that I've received or that others receive about reincarnation and other things are very dumbed down. They're very almost like fairy tales, or ways that we can understand this incredible vastness that we really can't comprehend.
Through the limited mind.
So we're kind of told these little stories like you tell children, you know, to help explain something.
Mm-hmm.
We're told, you know, and a very simplified, terribly oversimplified explanation. Because, for instance, it does seem that there are parallel universes. And yet, you know, I've been given this really simple thing. Oh, you spin off, oneness spins off souls, and those souls, you know, evolve and return to the oneness, right? Okay, well, it's a lot more complicated than that. You know, if everything you imagine exists, there are all these parallel universes, and you exist, and I exist and where we've made all these different choices. Every possible choice that we could have made exists somewhere, living us in those choices exists somewhere. I mean, we just can't understand it. And so really almost, you know, so many of these questions that you've asked today, I'm describing what I've been told and what I've been taught. Much of it is not necessarily my experience because we can't know these things, the metaphysical things. But I do think
as long as we're in human form, we're just not going to be able to.
But I think it serves to understand something about reincarnation because it helps to explain the differences between human beings. Because otherwise, it's so easy to judge people for not being wise, for being stupid, you know, for not knowing better, you know. But, you know, it's so easy to think other people are wrong, but they're just at a different place. They're not wrong. They're seeing life through the eyes of someone who is at that level.
Yeah.
And so, and we're here to be compassionate towards and to help others at whatever level they're at. And so I think that if you can use the understanding of reincarnation to be compassionate, help you be compassionate towards those who are different, who see things differently, who are maybe operating very unconsciously, it helps because otherwise we tear our hair out and we get all tied up in knots and judgments. So we just have to let everything be as it is. It's really fine. It's being held in God's hands. It's okay.
And then the last question here, there's so many theories on our soul evolution, death and reincarnation, etc. Is it really important for us to even know the mechanics of how the universe works? I mean, a lot of these questions we've asked and everything is aimed and it's coming through the little mind that wants to know, needs to know, but is it even important to our soul evolution or anything, I mean?
Yeah, well, I think it's only so important. It isn't essential, but I think that, like I said, an understanding of reincarnation, for instance, can help us live a better life. So I think if these ideas or understandings, these metaphysical ideas, like the fact that there are beings guiding us, if they can help you to evolve and be a better person and live the life you're meant to live, to align with truth, then good, then great. But if these ideas don't or interfere with that, well, then that's not so good. So, ideas themselves are neither right nor wrong. It's kind of how we use them. But I find that metaphysical understandings I think they've enhanced my life, have helped me to relax and feel at ease in this world, knowing that we're part of something so much greater, even though I don't really understand what that is.
And probably never will fully. Yeah. I get you. Which one of your books would you say, if somebody's asking me to discusses the most about reincarnation, would you say? Like the mechanics and the purpose and that sort of thing. All grace goes to a lot of the mechanics, it seems like.
Well, I actually wrote a book. It's not by Jesus, it's by the previous being that I worked with. I wrote a book in 1997 called Sojourn that is solely about the soul's evolution and reincarnation. And it has a lot in there about how the soul heals over many lifetimes from tragic occurrences.
Ooh.
And so how it might choose lifetimes to heal, and how it might eventually use those wounds to serve in later lifetimes. And so it does show a kind of a beautiful wisdom or picture about what life is all about. So it's, you know, it's on Amazon, but it isn't on my website because it just is something, it's not about non-duality. It's not about what I'm teaching now, but I think it's very valuable. Again, the book is Sojourn.
Yeah, I didn't know about this one at all. And you're so prolific. You have what, 11 billion, is it? Books in print. But
Yeah.
yeah, Sojourn, definitely I'm gonna have to check that one out. Well, wow, what a long journey in an hour here. We covered pretty much the whole universe and what's to come and everything. And I think we have a lot to chew on from this. And so maybe our group will get together at some point down the road and do something again. I don't know, because this is fascinating. And it brought up so many, my mind, I had to just bring it back and stay focused and hear you, because when you were talking about things, it just brought up so many different little tangents and questions. And that's exactly how the mind works, right? It's like, I gotta know this, I gotta know that. Oh, what's my grandma doing, you know, and stuff like that, you know. So all right, well,
It's also fun and interesting, and I do love to talk about it, and it's really been fun talking with you about it, because as I said, these aren't things that I have generally talked about, so it gave me a chance to talk about these things, so thank
how
you.
cool.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Gina. Be well.
Thank you.